Find somebody good, competent that you can communicate to, and they knock it out for you.
Good. How do you know when to eliminate the things that don't matter? I mean, that sounds easy, but how do you really know that it doesn't matter anymore? Is there some clarifying, thoughts or questions on that?
I'd say a couple of things that work for me, and every business is going to be different, but something that I identified was I was just on a bunch of back-to-back meetings, and now with the AI note takers, you can have them join. Of course, you can't have them join and have nobody from your team be on there, but I could have a VA of mine or somebody who's important, competent, smart. Yes, doesn't need to be my brain, doesn't need to be the founder's brain, but a VA plus the note taker plus maybe some questions that they either have from me or that they already sort of understand the way that I think, and they can sort of prompt ChatGPT to give them what should I be asking in this interview. Essentially removes me, the founder, from having to be present for some of those meetings.
Welcome to the Build It to Billions podcast, where we guide successful entrepreneurs and investors on their journey from millions to billions. We believe the key to scaling and compounding your wealth and life starts every single day with a mindset and practice of stewardship over ownership and applying billionaire biblical principles. Our ultimate goal is to help you scale and compound your wealth and life so you can give more all of it away to help MVPs. My name is Brett Swartz. Each and every episode, we are joined by some of the world's top entrepreneurs, millionaires or billionaires, where they share their secrets and insights and wisdom with us so we can all level up and make a bigger impact. I'm excited about our next guest. He's focused on helping founders. A lot of them get burnt out because they lack drive, not because they lack drive, but because they burn out because the business still depends on them for their decisions, approvals, and momentum. And he's going to help us give some key tips to reclaiming 10 to 20 per hours in the next 90 days. And so we can start working less and removing the bottlenecks. And we're going to be talking all about this today. And the episode is going to be talking about buyback time formula. Please welcome to the show with me, George Rivera. George, how are you doing?
Hey, Brett, great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to meet you over the podcast. For our listeners getting to know you for the first time, would you give us just a little bit more about your current focus and your a little bit of your experience?
Absolutely, yeah. So going on 31 years now in direct response. I started when I was 17. This was back in 1995 when dinosaurs used to roam the earth. A long time ago. And I started in the supplement space. And at the time, the internet was up and coming, as was GNC was the fastest growing franchise in the country at the time, kind of following along with the baby boomers. Whatever they're interested in, it's kind of they were kind of leading the way as far as the economy went. So I kind of piggybacked on two up and coming trends and hit some really big successes early on. And it's a typical entrepreneur journey, it's like this. And it's kind of hey, welcome to entrepreneurship. That's how life is. Had a number of peaks and valleys, but I circled back into the supplement space about 12, 13 years ago, and it's been a primary place where I've been, as far as making money online for me goes. I started a company 11 years ago now. From zero, took it to over 200 million in sales over that run. It still exists today. I'm a minority owner in that company now, but over the last year, 6 months to a year, I've sort of had this kind of this line in the sand moment of, okay, nobody's ever come to me, and I've sold millions of bottles of pills, but nobody's ever said, oh my gosh, this bottle of pills completely transformed my life. I mean, they're good products. I can sleep well at night and how I market them, but maybe you get a little bit less joint pain, maybe clear memory, but that's it. And that's what it's designed to do. But I feel like God put me on this planet to do a lot more than just sell a bunch of pills and stack money. So over the last 6 months, I'd say I've come out with this movement called Buyback Time Formula. Happens to be a book by the same title. And it's basically for cash-rich, time-poor people, basically the me of 10 years ago, where I built myself in this founder prison. I didn't really know how to get out of it, and everything sort of depended on me because that's how I built it. I didn't know any better. And over the course of a couple of years implementing the frameworks that I now teach, I didn't know anything about frameworks or bottlenecks or even the buyback time formula, but I implemented that, and I more than doubled my business from 20 million in 2018 to just shy of $50 million in 2021. But as opposed to working 80 hours the old way, the new me is semi-retired, never working more than 30 hours, and then really pouring into my family. And so kind of a super, super high level, but yeah, going back to how nobody ever said anything about the pills. Well, now people are saying, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much my present meant to my kids. And, so that puts a smile on my face, that satisfies my soul, gives me some purpose, and it's also helping people. So I feel like it's a win-win, but yeah, threw a lot out at you. So wherever you want to pick it up from there.
That's awesome, George. Thank you so much. By the way, you can learn more and get going on what Mr. George is speaking about by going to buybacktimeformula.com, buybacktimeformula.com. Let's just dive into the topic. What's the number one secret to the buyback time formula?
Yeah, really. The first thing is you got to be aware of where you are spending your time. So the first thing to do is really take an audit of your time. I call it the freedom audit, but it's really just an audit of the last 2 weeks. And if you're like me, you hear that and you're like, oh my gosh, well, I have things on my calendar, but I can't really tell you specifically what I did the last 2 weeks. So, okay, we'll start now. And then for the next 2 weeks, you document everything. Pretend there's a camera on you. And you write down things as simple as I woke up at this time, brushed my teeth, went to the bathroom, made breakfast, and then got to work. Because if you start to essentially think too much about should I even jot this task down, then you're not going to get an accurate reading, and you'll start to see patterns in the first 1 or 2 days to sort of give you, okay, now I see I'm doing some things I shouldn't be doing, but a 2-week timeline is enough to really solidify what it is you should not be doing. So really, that's the first step. You got to identify that, and then you give yourself a dollar per hour value. In my case, I'd say anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 per hour is my real true value when I'm like working on the stuff that me as the founder should be working on. Now, there's other things that I identified when I did this for myself that I was doing, working on things like merchant accounts and helping out with customer support and techie stuff, all super important stuff, but it shouldn't be the founder involved in those things. And so when I did my own audit, I was working 80 hours a week. And what I realized was that 40 of those hours, so like half the time, was on tasks that were $50 an hour and under. So not a mathematician, but $50 per hour times 40 hours is $2,000 per week. So for $2,000 per week for a business generating $20 million a year and very profitable, that's kind of the trade-off is kind of obvious there. So there's an element of the entrepreneur that also doesn't want to let go of certain tasks, even though you shouldn't be doing it. Because of past experiences. Maybe it was, an invoicing issue. Like when you're doing a lot of volume, you need to really reconcile invoices or vendors, or maybe on purpose, maybe not, I don't know, but like mistakes can happen, and a little decimal point or a comma can be in the wrong place, and that can cost you a lot of money. And so you have to have the right people in place to trust, to delegate to, so you minimize those type of things, because that's why we tend to hold on to those things. So at a high level, those are the first couple of things that I would do. Audit your time, and then give yourself a dollar per hour time so you know what you can not do, and then delegate that properly.
And so I like how you broke that example down for audit your time, right? So like literally, like from the time you wake up to the time you eat breakfast to the time you work out, or the time whatever it is, and you just, and like there's a camera on you, and you're just reporting, so and so, being in the third person, I did this, did that, or that person did this or that, and that's how you do that for 2 weeks. And then on the other side of it, you give yourself a dollar per hour. You figure that out, right? Maybe based upon their size of your company, all the different things, right? Maybe another formula for that. But then once you establish that, then you look at comparison. Okay, what am I trading that's profitable for what's priceless, of course, with the family? What am I trading that's a bad trade, right? That's a $50 per hour versus what the value. Is that a fair summary so far on those first kind of 2 steps?
Yeah, exactly. And then once you figure out the stuff you shouldn't be doing, then there's a whole nother process for that I can get into. But yeah, so there's only 3 things you could do with anything aside from doing it, but then there's 3 things to get it off your plate. And that's,
let's go into that.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah,
that's eliminate things that really don't move the needle, that don't matter. And there's going to be a number of things you'll identify that's like, hey, I don't even think anybody should be doing some of this stuff. And then the next thing is automate anything that repeats. And of course, with AI, that go into numerous things on ways on how to do that. And then the last thing is delegate. And had I heard that 10 years ago, I would have said, yeah, I'm delegating, and everything still bounces back up to me. So there's a proper way to delegate, and it's delegate with ownership. You need to show your people assuming you hire the right people, which is part of the process as well. But you need to show them exactly what does the outcome look like, not just here, do this task, and then they're kind of like bouncing back and forth. Does it look okay? And you know, that's like sucking you back in. You need to show them what the outcome looks like, and then you give them the freedom and the liberty to improve upon that task and make it more efficient. And so by doing that, you'll essentially reduce a lot of that, hey, does this look good, or how do you do this? And you give them the ownership to improve upon it. So that high level, that's kind of what you do with those things that you shouldn't be doing.
Okay, got it. That's great. That's great breaking down. So limited things that don't matter anymore, or for you or for your team, and then automate anything that's you're repeating, right, through AI, and then delegate the remaining to team members that are the proper team members. And then the proper way to delegate is to make sure that ownership and the actual outcome is very clear. They understand it. Is that a fair summary so far?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so your buyback time formula. Walk us through how you guys personally help entrepreneurs implement this, execute on this. Is that kind of the service what you guys do now?
Yeah, so basically it all starts with the book, and it's buybacktimeformula.com. There's a link to my book. It's free, just cover shipping. I mean, you could say it's like $9-10 all in. It's a heavy book. It's 128 pages, so it's no fluff, or I could say extremely light on fluff. There's some context as to why this is important, but it doesn't go super deep. There's just a lot of frameworks and strategies. So everything I know about buying back time and how I took my company from $20 to $50 million by working less is in that book. So you can get that book and you'll be like, holy cow, it's all in here. Go run and transform your life. I know there's some people that will get that book. And if you're like the me of 10 years ago, I say cash rich, time poor, you're going to say, oh my gosh, great book. Help me. I don't even know where to begin. Then they can reach out to me. All my socials are available on that page, as well as my contact info is in the book. But yeah, the book has it all. There's no like, go here to buy the $10,000 thing that tells you the real big secret. It's all in the book.
Okay, great. And then, but you mentioned they could also connect with you. I mean, your team coaching, like, is there additional, support for implementing all of this? To make sure I caught that
Absolutely.
piece.
Yeah, there's additional support. I have some video tools and programs that, kind of go deeper in some of the concepts. But yeah, like I said, there's going to be people that get it and like, great, yeah, I got the blueprint right here. I just don't have the time to implement it. And so where do I start? How do I begin? And yeah, they can reach out to me and I can walk alongside the person,
Cool.
one-on-one and like hold them accountable, walk them through the journey. At the end of the day, the goal, and this is how we know we've achieved transformation, is the ability to take a 2-week vacation pretty much off the grid. I mean, we're going to install like a true number 2 where everything like goes up to, and it doesn't penetrate unless there's like some severe thing that only the business owner or the founder can actually, help in. And I struggle to find an example because this never happened to me, and I've been doing this for years. But sometimes you're like, well, what could penetrate that? I'm like, I don't know, maybe like a banking issue where the founder's like the signer and they need the signer to come in for something. But I'm struggling to find any other examples, maybe a legal issue. But yeah, it's never happened.
Let's dive in a little bit more. That makes sense. Let's dive a little bit more to the automate right now, and give us kind of where, I mean, AI is obviously accelerating at a rapid pace. It's changing the world as we know it. What has been maybe the best 1 or 2? Is it ChatGPT? Is it Notebook LM? Is it creating the bot? Is it hiring the group to create the bot? Create the agent? Like, what are you finding like right now is the best way to get AI to replace the repeatable stuff in your business? Yeah,
personally, I use ChatGPT and Claude. Obviously, like the paid subscriptions for just a lot of emails and content and some strategy and things like that. I've hired people to assist with like agents and automating certain processes. Like for example, my son has a podcast. He just turned 11. He's interviewed like 25 people before the age of 11. A lot of people in my network, so it's a whole other side thing. But there is a process, as you have a podcast as well. Like once you record it, there's the editing and all the thumbnails and posting and all that stuff. So I'm having somebody build a tool to like automate a lot of that process, so that once it's done and it's edited, then it's like put it in the machine and it'll kind of kick out all the associated assets that used to take many, many hours. I can explain it high level, contextually or like technically it's difficult because there's all these different AIs that need to interact. But the easiest thing to do these days is just talk into ChatGPT or Claude and say, this is what I want to do. Help me build an agent for it, and it'll give you the steps on how to do that. So Yeah, I love using AI again, for the content piece, and as well as brainstorming ways to automate certain tasks that, like I said, anything that repeats and that there's a system to it, AI is now capable of doing it. And like you said, it's changing every day. Next week's going to do something crazy we haven't even thought of.
So I love it. Are you finding that I mean, you kind of answered, but I'm going to be really clear. Like, so you ask ChatGPT how to do it, and then you go delegate that group or team to do that. Like, versus are you building it internally? Like, that's the part where I'm trying to get clarity on.
Absolutely. So I do have a tech person. If that tech person is backed up or busy, or for whatever reason it's a project I don't want to put a strain on them, I'll just hire somebody else on Upwork or Fiverr. I've actually spent, I don't know, $5-6 million myself on Upwork over the years. So I know a thing or two about outsourcing and delegating, and I'll have ChatGPT sort of like put my thought into like a proper Upwork or Fiverr description, and it'll just communicate exactly what I want to the person who's building it out. And I'm not really partial to any specific tools on how to do it. There's Zapier and all these other similar tools that automate a lot of things.
Let them do it, right?
Yeah.
So the key is casting and creating the vision and the clarity of what you want, using chat to help you clarify that, getting the job description, and then like putting it on a Fiverr or Upwork, and then working through that process and getting really good at that over the years. And this person's good for this, and then you kind of have that Rolodex. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think the founder should be the one getting into Zapier and doing all those little details. So find somebody good, competent that you can communicate to, and they knock it out for you.
Good. How do you know when to eliminate the things that don't matter? I mean, that sounds easy, but like, how do you like really know that it doesn't matter anymore? Like, is there like some clarifying, thoughts or questions on that?
I'd say a couple of things that work for me, and every business is going to be different, but something that I identified was I was just on a bunch of back-to-back meetings, and now with like the AI note takers, you can have them join. Of course, you can't have them join and have nobody from your team be on there, but I could have a VA of mine or somebody who's important, competent, smart. Yes, doesn't need to be my brain, doesn't need to be the founder's brain, but a VA plus the note taker plus maybe some questions that they either have from me or that they already sort of understand the way that I think, and they can sort of prompt ChatGPT to give them what should I be asking in this interview, essentially removes me, the founder, from having to be present for some of those meetings. And again, it's very subjective to the type of business, but that's a real world example for me. But I don't know, 5 to 10 hours a week in some cases. Like, you used to have all these recurring meetings, and I slashed them down to next to nothing.
What are the key meetings, do you think, if someone is, has multiple millions of revenue, and they want to scale, what are the ones that you still, hey, you definitely got to be having these ones that even though you might eliminate some other ones? Yeah.
So part of delegation, transferring with ownership, one of the things to transfer as well as decision rights. So like, for example, an example for me would be like, I'd tell my team, anything under $1,000 that you want, so long you have a valid reason for it, and because you're on my team, I trust you, so we're sort of already on the same page there, just go for it. You don't need to ask me. If it's over 1,000, then let's talk about it. Do we really need it, and what have you. Once a week, we have a meeting. It's Thursday mornings, 15 minutes, and we go over, okay, what did we buy? What did we invest in for the week? Did it work out? Yes, no. Do we keep it? So, you want to give them the liberty to make those decisions so that they can move quickly, but you also don't want to be like, okay, well, we've got all these tools on $500 a month recurring. That adds up to a lot of money at the end of the year. So you want to have a weekly cadence. For us, it's once a week on Thursday mornings. It could be every other week. It could be once a month. You find the cadence that works for your company and review all of the decision rights that you allowed your team. And it's just a huddle. It's 15 minutes. There's no small talk. There's no how's the weather. It's like literally you got 3 minutes, or allocate a quick time where they can just get it out. Okay, we're good. Do you need help? No. Next, and you bang it out.
Got it. And that's specifically just for decisions on spending.
Yeah,
right?
or just decision rights. If you give them the liberty to do anything to improve a process, it's basically come with like what you've done this week, and that includes decision rights or ownership of any tasks.
Got it. Okay. I got it. All right. So that's definitely a meeting you have. Got it. Decision rights. Got it. What other meetings are like you got to make sure you keep?
Yeah. So those are like internal meetings. That's pretty much all that I do internally, and that's like slashed many. Like I used to have some for different divisions. I just like let it all go high level. And one of the things that changed for me, so I had the world's worst org chart 10 years ago. It's me here, 40 people beneath me. I'd test down, and it would boomerang back up to me. I'd rob from the future, saying it's quicker if I do it myself. And so over time, I changed everything. And I had department heads, so that instead of 40 people reporting to me, it was more like 4 people reporting to me, because there was a structure now there. And so, yeah, now I only communicate with the department heads in those short meetings, and that's really made life a lot better for me. I mean, that was a huge way of how I bought back time.
Okay, excellent. And by the way, it's George Rivera, everybody. You can learn more about him by going to buybacktimeformula.com, buybacktimeformula.com, get the book, start to learn how you go from cash rich to time, your time poor, how to be a more present father in 90 days, 30-hour owner weeks while growing profits. So, okay, this is good. This is good. And I think we're pretty good on time, so I'll keep going on a few more of these things. When you delegate, or let me back up, when you're hiring, okay? So like, was there like, this really became the game changer for hiring and training and onboarding? Is there like, what helps you to perfect that or make that really efficient?
Yeah, really when hiring, I prefer to hire people that are very coachable and teachable and follow instructions. That's the main thing. Even more important than, say, somebody with maybe potentially an impressive profile or impressive feedback. Somebody who can demonstrate that they can be coachable and follow instructions. So I do like to sort of have little Easter eggs hidden in the what's it called, the job posting. It's like in the middle of it, say, hey, when you reply to this, put the word, I don't know, it might just be some random word like fulfillment or whatever, something associated to the role that I'm hiring for. That's just a unique word, so that in their reply to me, it's like fulfillment. Here's why I think I'm qualified. And I'm like, okay, at least you read the instructions. Now, with AI, I know there's a lot of people out there, just copy the job post, put it in AI and say, hey, what's a good response for this? Oh, by the way, make sure you say fulfillment because it's in there. So that's, maybe that doesn't have as much weight as it used to have. But one thing that could still be hard to fake or manufacture would be, I have them do a Loom video. And if they don't do the Loom video, I just ignore it. I'm like, I'm not even going to reply to say, do the Loom video. There's going to be an instruction that says, do the Loom video. Why do you think you're qualified for this job? What experience do you have that you feel like you're qualified? And then tell me something about yourself, something maybe fun or a hobby. And I might throw in like, what's your superpower in life or in business or in work? And you really get to see kind of multiple aspects of the person that you're hiring, kind of different sides of their personality.
Then you can watch the video for 5 minutes, and it's like, and then you can, obviously scale to actually spend the time with the one-on-one person if they pass all of those things. That's basically what you're saying, right?
Exactly, yeah. So instead of getting 20, 30 applicants like I used to get in the old days, maybe I get 3 or 4 like really good Loom videos, and now I'm like, kind of deciding between them instead of back and forth with people because I didn't qualify them initially.
By the way, how do you use Loom videos to delegate even training and communicate so you have less meetings? Because that's something we're trying to perfect as well.
Yeah, well, one thing that I like to do is any task that I'm delegating that's like something I could screen share is essentially with Loom, I will just record it. I'll take the transcript, I'll copy the transcript, put it in ChatGPT, and I'll say, Chat, make me this beautiful SOP from this process. Because it's a raw transcript, so you want to have it like be done in a step-by-step fashion. Chat will output a very nice SOP for you. Obviously, you want to read it because it might get you 95% there, but there could be a little critical step that you need to tweak. So make sure that it's good. I paste it on a Google Doc that can just be ever living and updating, along with the Loom video, and then I will give the person I'm outsourcing it to 10 minutes. I'll say, hey, I'm here. I got 10 minutes. Watch this. Read through this. Is it clear? And then they'll watch it. Oh, can you answer this, that? Oh, yeah, I must have missed something. Okay, how about now? Clear. Okay, great, we're clear. Now I should never, ever, ever, ever see this again unless we change a vendor or something changes in our process that's fundamental to the task. But this should never come back to me. And if there's a question, we'll discuss it on our Thursday call, but it's yours, you own it. And that, that's the new way. The old me was just, here, do this. And then later it'd come back to me, okay, I'll just do it. And then I'm still paying them and I'm doing their job for them. And that's kind of insane. And I was living insane for years.
Oh, that's so good, George. I love that. Yeah. Is it clear? Is it clear? Right. And then really hey, I'm showing you this so that I never have to do this again. Do you understand what the outcome we want here? Right.
Yeah.
It's something I try to practice with my team. Why am I showing you this? Why are we recording this? Why are we creating this SOP? So that I never have to do this again, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay, because you're right. If we're going to grow the company to another level, like I can't be doing these things. This is why you're here. This is important, and it's meaningful for what you're doing. And so that, I think that's so key. I love that. What's CRM? Is there HubSpot? Is it Go High Level? Like, do you have any thoughts on that? I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, I'd say these days Go High Level seems to be the flavor that a lot of people are using, and everything seems to like integrate well with that. I've used Infusionsoft back in the day. I know they're now Keep. I've used Connective, Limelight, which now they're sticky. So I've used a number of them, but yeah, Go High Level seems to have taken like the best of all those and sort of blended it in. So
do you get in there much at all, or your team, what are you spending your time on these days as the founder of the company, right? Like how much do you need to get into email or not get into email, or your calendar, or the Go High Level? Like where do you go?
yeah, I'll look in Go High Level sometimes, like their platforms, just to sort of see like what options I have as I'm creating like landing pages and things. I don't literally create the landing page, but I want to see like the designs and stuff so I can give input for the people that are implementing that. And it used to be, techie people / designers. Now it's VAs can sort of do all this stuff with the proper, training, and the whole Loom SOP thing we just talked about is perfect for that. So yeah, most of my time now is just sort of casting vision, figuring out, okay, what's my content, my messaging going to be for the next week or the next couple of weeks. I like to plan out my content in advance. Like recently, Tony Robbins and Alex Hormozy did an interview like a week, maybe 10 days ago. I'm sure you've heard it. It kind of broke the internet, or at least what I see on the internet, everybody was talking about it. So I like to piggyback on hot topics like that. Like I'll take the transcript of that, and then I'll put it in ChatGPT, and I'll say, hey, it already knows what I'm talking about. Now, here's two heavyweight titans talking about this. Now, let's talk about it together. Now, help me make content, based on the Alex Hormozy, Tony Robbins interview. And it gives me some great stuff. Like, Alex has made hundreds of millions of dollars, but he was still very unhappy. And so that gives me the ability to say, hey, just because you make money, I know because I lived it. I was doing $20 million and I was miserable. I can relate to that. Maybe you can relate to it too. So it's really good. So I like to just stick to like the marketing and the messaging.
Oh, that's so good, George. I love it because, I find that I get caught in between, do I have more meetings? Do I have less meetings? What meetings should I be having? Like we spend like 1 hour every Monday morning. Like it's a leadership meeting where I'm pouring into my leaders, pouring into the team. Like it's a full hour where I'm either grabbing content or I have the content and I'm pouring into, like we did our 100X, cast vision life. And I even stopped to say, hey, the next 15, 20 minutes, you're just going to do that. And we're going to come back together and like helping them to grow as leaders. So how about that? Are you doing that? How are you doing that? Or any other meetings? Because in my mind, I'm also looking to hire like a group that helps to do all these different meetings. And I'm like, is that really me? Like, because I like to just create the content, cast the vision, unblock the roadblocks. And then you have the integrator, you have my operations manager. So it's just, I don't know, it's not a one size fits all, but I just feel like there's not like a clear, this is how you build it, so I'm wondering, it sounds like but you also built to a different level, so I'm not quite there yet, right? I'm a couple million in revenue, right? But we're not sure where you're at. I don't have like the department head, so maybe it's different seasons of the business, right?
Yeah, it's different seasons. And I was going to say, if you're looking for somebody to run the meetings for you or to sort of like tee them up, that would be like, have a number two or an operations. Sounds like you have an operations person, but maybe add that to their role or find a person on your team that sort of thrives in organizing people and sort of taking the lead on
what meetings are they running? Maybe that's a better question. So your department heads, like which ones are they all running during the week?
Yeah, as far as for my supplement company, we've got one running like development, like what are we working on, what's near to be completed, and what's coming ahead. Are there any urgent issues that we need to provide for any traffic platforms or
once
affiliates?
a week for 30 minutes?
That's an hour once a week. Yeah, once a week on Tuesdays. And I'm not on that call.
Yeah, right. And they're running basically the pipeline. What's closing, what's not closing, what are we working on? Like this is 1 hour. Okay.
Exactly. But I have a note taker that kicks me the notes, and in like 2 minutes, I'm like, okay, good, done. And I didn't have to be there for an hour.
Good.
And then Friday, we have a traffic call. It's basically what are affiliates looking for? Do we need to improve conversions? What's our budget for media spend? So yeah, those are two examples. And then we have an operational call as well. That's sort of more of a high level, like, customer support. Are they seeing any spike in chargebacks or fraud? Then that needs to be relayed to the traffic people so they can talk to the affiliates to see where that's coming from. So the departments need to communicate. But there's an operation. There's a true number two who's like managing all that.
Got it. And what does that call happen?
That's a Thursday at noon call. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a Thursday noon. Got it. And then you had a Friday traffic call, whatever. And then you have a development meeting. That's
a Tuesday call. Yep.
Okay, interesting. Okay, all right, got it. This has been so good. I don't know, what question haven't I asked you, George, so far that I should ask you, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll go to the lightning round.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think. We covered pretty good on the business stuff. I'd say, what inspired this whole thing was, my dad told me, basically on his deathbed, he said, 2 weeks before he passed away, he said, "Don't miss Leo's games. I miss too many of yours." And Leo's my son. And just quick, like 30 seconds on this, he missed like all my games except for one in high school, played basketball. And I remember thinking, am I just not important to my dad? Well, fast forward 20 years, he says that statement to me, and I realized, awesome, good closure for that, but also, holy cow, I'm my dad all over again, working hard, missing moments for the family. So that really was the emotional, shaking to my core that I needed to sort of say, I can't keep going down this path. I was, I say in my book, I was rich but miserable. And so anyway, I'd say that's kind of how we got to this point to begin with.
Awesome. We'll do one thing and then we'll do the lightning round. And it's kind of what's what we do. We help people who exit deferred capital gains taxes so they can have truly passive income and have more time to be more intentional with the family, more time to do the next season of life without having to get crushed by capital gains tax. We help business owners, Bitcoin owners, real estate owners. Most people know about real estate, and you can do these 1031 exchanges. It tends to keep you in the same asset class, not diversified, not liquid. Cash flow might be, similar. We like to exit people into these trusts, George, defer the tax. Then they can go back, they can invest into businesses, or they can from business go into real estate, or from Bitcoin into a business, all tax deferred. It's great for the entrepreneur. I'm curious, on your exits, what's been your go-to or any strategies? You have these massive companies, but at some point you need to have an exit plan, right? And capital gains tax, and it can be substantial, right? It can be 20, 30, 40, 50% of your proceeds all wiped out without a plan. So what is your go-to, or what have you studied when it comes to capital gains tax exit planning? Yeah,
well, I'm not a financial expert, so I got people that help me with that. But yeah, one thing that I have been doing is diversifying into real estate. I've had a number of single family rentals and Airbnbs as well. I'm actually in one of them right now. We like to use it in the off season, kind of like a free place to stay. But yeah, I'd say that's my biggest thing. I've also invested in other things that haven't worked out so well, but the one thing that really truly does work well for me is real estate and land and raw vacant land. And so I have a number of vacant properties as well.
That's great. And people want to learn more about how to exit any asset of any kind. If it's above $1 million, you go to capitalgainstaxes.com. You can eliminate the need for the 1031 exchange forever. You can move from a business to real estate to business, or to stocks or Bitcoin, all tax deferred, using an installment sale with the trust. Just go to capitalgainstaxes.com and check out the book we also have going on here called Building a Capital Gains Tax Exit Plan. We have that with Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, which is pretty cool. You can find that on Amazon. All right, George, you ready for the lightning round?
Let's do it.
All right, knowing what you know now, if you go back to your 20-year-old self, what's one gold nugget make sure to tell yourself to do?
I would say just remain consistent and don't stress the small stuff, and these seasons don't last forever.
Excellent. Next question, number one book besides Buy Back Your Time formula that you've recommended the most in the past year?
The Slight Edge by Olson. I'm blanking out on the name.
I think it's John Olson.
You've heard it, right? The Slight Edge.
I've read it. Yeah,
okay.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great book. Next question. What are you most curious about right now?
Right now, what am I most curious about? Yeah, on the personal side, I'm just studying a lot of scripture and apologetics, just the historical evidence, that exists in the Bible. It's not just some religious textbook that we could sort of put alongside Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. Like, it's a legit historical document. So just learning about the truths in that book's been fascinating and eye-opening.
Yeah. We were just doing it with my daughter last night. We were studying, and there's a YouTube video. I forgot the guy's name, but he said there's three main things, right? There's the design, design doesn't come from chaos, right? There's life only comes from life, right? And then he talked about love and morals, right? And it's like there's like the evidence is more probable that there is, that there's not, and understanding those arguments are so crucial for everybody who wants to be in a faith journey.
Absolutely. I say I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. Is kind of the thing
That's Frank Turk, right?
Yeah.
He's great. He's great. Yeah, that's another one, right? And yeah, I like the way he says it. So you're saying, I think this might be Ray Comfort. So you're saying that you believe the scientific impossibility that nothing created everything, right? This is so good. So if they don't believe in God, say, and so that takes a lot more faith, right, to believe that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we digress, but that's awesome. I love that, George. Next question, number one leadership quote or theme that you strive to live by.
Yeah, it goes back to the Slight Edge book. He says, and I sometimes butcher it up, but it says, time is the great equalizer. It'll either promote you or expose you. So anytime any situation, gets rough, I just remember to maintain my composure. That time will sort of just make it'll promote you or expose you. And I'm counting on the promotion part of it.
Okay. All right. So excellent. Love it. And the very last question, George, and it's kind of the heart of why we're here at Build to Billions podcast, which is practicing a mindset and practice of stewardship or ownership, believing that God's given us these gifts and they're on loan for us for a short period of time to be a blessing for our families, for others. So what's the best way that you say centered in a mindset of stewardship over ownership?
Yeah, it's, I'm blanking out on the verse, but it's where the Lord will finish what he started. And I know I just butchered it up. Maybe that's coming to you.
It's Philippians, yeah. It's he who began a good work will bring it to completion.
Yeah, exactly. And I love Philippians 4, 6, and 7 about, he gives us a list of things to be anxious for, and it's basically nothing. And so I try to remember that.
So good, so good. George Rivera, I want to just thank you for on the show. Man, I threw a ton of questions at you. You provided tons of wisdom and content for us. I want to encourage you to keep using your gifts to bless and encourage others to buy back their time formula with your book, for their families, for their businesses, for their team members, for those they serve, for the listeners who want to get in touch with you. One last time, what's the best place for them to find you?
Awesome. Thank you, Brett. This has been fun. They can find me at buybacktimeformula.com. All my socials are there. I post daily. So yeah, hit me up.
Awesome. And I also want to thank all of our listeners for listening to another episode of the Build to Billions podcast, also streaming on Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast and YouTube channels. We're on this journey with you to scale from millions to billions so we can give more all of it away. And we're bringing on people like George to learn how to do this. Like, you need to practice this. It's a muscle, but you also need wisdom from those who've already achieved it. I encourage you to get the book, implement these wisdom steps so you can buy back your time even more. And of course, if you have a large exit, you have massive capital gains taxes, I want to encourage you to build a capital gains tax exit plan. We have a book called Building a Capital Gains Tax Exit Plan. You can also go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. Works for businesses, Bitcoin, real estate, stock, really any asset of any kind, as long as it has $1 million net proceeds, $1 million gain. So you don't have to suffer the consequences of 20, 30, 40, 50% of your proceeds being taxed. Go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. We'll promise to do better next time. We appreciate everyone out there. Bye.